I have learned so much since that last video, and now, guess where that knowledge is going? Straight to you. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today I have 5 solid tips to upgrade, improve, increase the quality of your B-roll videos, especially now that we are all, for the most part, at home. If you enjoy these tips and you like these videos, you know how you can support me? Right there and right there. Number 1, look for opportunities to mask. This is the biggest tip that I have for you today, especially when you're trying to refine these skills at home. When you take it outside, it's going to magnify your filmmaking skills. So number 1, really look for opportunities to mask. What do I mean by that? You want to look for things, objects, people that are going to block your frame. For example, if I were to walk past the camera, and as I walk past the camera, my back, it reveals a brand new clip. That is an opportunity to mask. If you are working on products like I do for board games, one really cool opportunity that I always look for is when I look at different miniatures and different structures, when they have holes in them, I'll take my camera and like pan across or pan through, because I know in the edit I can replace whatever is inside with a brand new clip. That's a very, very smooth and cool way to transition from one clip to the next by masking through and finding these kind of replacements. Not to mention, they are some of the most stylistically cool and aesthetically pleasing type of shots. Number 2, if you, like me, film by yourself quite often because, you know, A, quarantine, and B, not all of us have friends that are filmmakers, and C, not all of us have people that we can go to spend time holding the camera to film ourselves. So if you work alone, what really helps a lot is using a turntable. This is a method that is 10 times cheaper than using a gimbal or a slider or any other type of stabilizer. So you're going to set your camera on a turntable, set your autofocus point to where you're going to be, turn off autofocus so now it's on manual focus, and then as soon as you turn on the turntable, it's going to spin the camera around. And as it spins, then you stay in that spot where you planned where you're going to be, so the focus is perfectly sharp of where you planned it. And what I also like to do is put like a light stand or a tripod right in front, that way you get some nice foreground movement and more opportunities to mask as well. Going back off that first tip. Number 3, this is especially useful and really cool for product type shots. So for this one, I like to put miniatures right at the edge of my table here, and then see how I have this halo in the background? Well, back here is actually a set of LED strip lights. So I can change those to whatever color I want. They're RGB colored. So if I put miniatures and little board game pieces right in front right here, and then I have my lights in the background, if I were to angle my camera right in front, set the f-stop to really low so you get this nice dreamy bokeh, you get all of these nice patterns of lights right behind whatever your subject is. So that helps accentuate and really highlight the subject that you're focusing on. On top of that, if you use RGB colored lights, you can use lights to insinuate different feelings, right? So for like war-themed board games, I'll put red lights in the back. Number 4 is probably the most difficult, but also the most worthwhile shot to implement. And this is finding a weird angle. An angle that is unconventional and that is not standard. An angle that is very uncomfortable for you to film in. It makes the viewer think about like, oh, how did they even film this shot? Or where is the shot coming from? Or where is the camera even placed here? It's new, it's something people haven't seen before. For example, when you're doing an overhead shot, one way to make that interesting instead of just doing a standard shot where you have your camera right above, what I like to do is to put actually my light stick from above using a janky microphone stand, and then I'll scan over the subject with whatever is on the table. I'll scan over the subject and then have the light pass through it. And again, refers back to tip number 1, where I have an opportunity to mask, or B, it also gives a nice foreground reveal as well. Sometimes I like to put my camera right above my shelf so you kind of see my shoulder in the background a little bit blurred out, and then pieces of the board game right in front. Or with movement, I'll go from below the table and then end up above the table. Shots like that make your B-roll very interesting. And lastly, this is something I kind of figured out and played around with as I was doing all these cinematic showcases. One other shot I like to do is kind of like a box reveal or an object reveal. So what I like to do is to put my camera on a tripod right in front. And then I'll put whatever components that I want in focus also in front of the lens. So this one will be like different components of the board game, meeples or cards, whatever it is. And then I'll turn off autofocus, so that way the focus is set on the cards, the subject itself. And then I'll set the camera to record, usually in 4K, that way I can zoom in digitally And then I'll take like the box cover and the back cover and then just slowly open it up in like a V shape so it reveals whatever components that I was focusing on. So those are 5 more tips that you can use in your toolkit to film some more epic B-roll at home, practicing it and refining at home so we can really up those skills when we are allowed to officially go outside. Let me know in the comments down below which one you're planning to use next and which one you found most insightful, most helpful to you. And until then, thank you for watching and I'll see you all later.